Having worked as a staffing company for the past 7 years, we've seen how inefficient the processes can be. Agencies right now struggle to find enough staff to actually treat their patients. Being able to utilize AI to replace the middleman, to allow these therapists and agencies to have their own agentic agents to help them out with things like staffing, care coordination, therapist documentation, optimizing routes is really going to revolutionize the industry.
There's so many ways that we're going to be able to leverage AI to help support the workforce that is truly struggling and leaving healthcare because of the burnout due to the constant bombardment of all these administrative duties. We're super excited to be working with TheAgentic.
All the other development companies, the questions that they've asked were very basic. Some of the questions we were asked about what are PRD, I was like, I hadn't even thought about that. I'm pretty sure I've thought about everything. And so it's just, I feel like the team can just think outside the box in such a way that it really makes us better as entrepreneurs and business owners for our own company. Dr. Bradley Evsich. I went to the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston to receive my doctorate in physical therapy. After getting that doctorate, I went out to start my career in outpatient physical therapy. I was seeing about 16 to 18 patients a day. It was a really, really tough industry, so I decided to move out to California to test my luck out there. I ended up meeting Andy actually really early on in my career out there, seeing him for some private soft tissue work. He told me about home health care, and that's kind of where our story started.
So like Bradley said, got Bradley signed up for a couple of the companies that I was working for in the home healthcare space. And we started working together, actually kind of seeing patients as a team. Bradley was doing the evaluations, then I was doing a lot of the treatments. And I guess it was about 3 months into working together, I was just getting really frustrated about the way that the companies that we were working for were managing everything. And I was actually on my way to Las Vegas and I called Bradley up and I said, I'm going to go start my own business and go get my own contracts and, see my own patients. Do you want to do this with me? So we started bringing other therapists into this space. And essentially what we created was a staffing company where we're basically a middleman between the agencies and the healthcare providers, helping connect agencies with the workers that they need. And we've been running this business for the past 7 years. And we really just saw so many efficiencies in the way that these agencies were finding and working with these healthcare providers. And that's really what led us to the vision for the CareConnexion. We've been working to develop our platform now for about the past year and getting ready to launch it in the next week and a half.
Really having worked as a staffing company for the past 7 years, we've seen how inefficient the processes can be and honestly how costly it is. As a staffing company, we have to make money on our end. So we have to upcharge the services that are being provided. So having that middleman in the mix really just complicates a lot of things. And so agencies right now, they struggle to find enough staff to be able to actually treat their patients. So they're pretty much forced into using these staffing companies to be able to get the job done. And so over time, we've just realized that the only way to actually help this problem would be to obviously replace the middleman, but at the same time to find a way that we can keep therapists in the profession, retain them in the workforce, and also attract them into the home healthcare space. Because, before I met Andy, I was like, there's no way I'm doing home health. Like the elderly population really scares me. Being in their homes, not really learning enough about it in school. It was really, really difficult kind of transition. After I was actually able to come into the space and realize, oh my goodness, like it's so nice to be able to actually see patients one-on-one for 45 minutes. It's a really great population to work for. You can really make an impact in their life. As we know, the elderly population is going to be doubling within the next 20 to 30 years. So it's going to be a huge, huge issue. It already is now. Home health agencies are declining about 70% of the referrals they receive due to staffing issues. So really being able to utilize AI and technology to replace the middleman, to allow these therapists and agencies to have their own agentic agents to be able to help them out with things like staffing, with care coordination, therapists with their documentation, with optimizing routes is really going to revolutionize the industry.
Really one of the biggest unlocks that I see and one of the biggest pain points about working in healthcare in general is the amount of time that healthcare workers have to spend on medical documentation. Essentially, where I see this going in the future is that a healthcare worker is going to be able to go and provide their service to a patient. During that time they're spending with the patient, that AI assistant is going to be seeing and hearing what is happening during that treatment. And that AI assistant can then go and complete that medical documentation. And so that way, at the end of the treatment, all the therapist has to do is just review that medical documentation, sign off on it, and then they're done. And that right there alone is going to give them back hours every day. There's so many ways that we're going to be able to leverage AI to help really support the workforce that is truly struggling and, leaving healthcare because of the burnout that they're experiencing due to the constant bombardment of all these administrative duties that they're getting asked to do on a daily basis.
You've been a part of this program for a little bit. If I may ask, what was the deciding factor to jump in the pit with us?
We're super excited to be working with TheAgentic, and I see nothing but great things ahead. So
yeah, and just off the bat, I feel like it was in our first meeting, kind of going through our PRD. I mean, honestly, all the other development companies that we've worked with, the questions that they've asked were very basic, very simple. Some of the questions we were asked about what our PRD was trying to accomplish were things that I was like, Andy, I hadn't even thought about that. I'm pretty sure I've thought about everything. And so it's just, I feel like the team can just think outside the box in such a way that it really makes us better as entrepreneurs and business owners for our own company to be like, actually, wait, we need to think about that too. Let's try to integrate that into the mix. And I think that's something that is really, really valuable that not a lot of companies can do.